Destructure props in Composition API without losing reactivity. In this simple app, I use a counter, which is a reactive variable, which is per default 0. And the template contains an increment button. It shows the current count. And it also includes a double count component that gets the current count via a prop. Let's take a look in double count. And here we can see that we use the define props compiler macro to access props. Define props is a compiler macro and does not need to be imported. As we all love destructuring objects in JavaScript, you might want to try to destructure the props object, like I did in this example. You can see that I use destructuring to access the count value which is passed via prop. If I now click the increment button, you can see that the count from app.view is updated correctly, but double count always is 0. The problem is, when we destructure the props object, the reactivity is lost. By destructuring the props object, the count variable becomes a primitive value, in our case of type number, and it's no longer a ref or reactive object. The simple solution is to access props via the props variable in order to retain reactivity. Let's give that a try. I remove the destructuring, and instead of destructuring the count, I now access the count via props.count. Let me reload the application. If I now click increment, you can see that count and double count works as expected. If you cannot live without destructuring, Vue provides a special helper, toRefs. toRefs takes a reactive object, in our example the props object, and converts it to a plain object where each property of the resulting object is a ref pointing to the corresponding property of the original object. We need to use count.value inside the computed property as it is a ref. Let me show you this in our example. First, I need to import toRefs from Vue, and then I can call const. I can destructure props now, and here I can call toRefs, and we need to pass the reactive object. In our case, it's props. And what I need to do here is count is now a ref, so we need to call .value. If I reload the application, you can see it works as expected. So you can either use directly access the props object or use toRefs if you want to use destructuring.